What's up, everybody? Thralls of Metal, I'm Jammin John.
Necrotic Nick.
And we are bringing you yet another in the laundry list of EPs that came out this weekend. The awaited release from Svart Crown with Les Terres Brûlées.
You did so well on that one, but you probably got it wrong.
I probably got it wrong. We are not French. We have said many times here on this channel how we don't do well with European pronunciation. And we're no slouch here.
Literally any other country than our own. I mean, English we're not even so good at.
Yeah, sometimes I fuck up English too. It's, a running thing.
Me fail English? That's impossible. So again, this is another part of our little EP gauntlet here. This also came out on the 10th of June on Les Acteurs de l'Ombre Productions. Got all that wrong. I'm pretty sure of it. This band formed in 2004 in France, pretty obvious here. This is their first ever EP. They have 5 full lengths. We actually reviewed the last one way back when we knew nothing about lighting or sound quality.
or really how to be on camera or do reviews or...
I'm not saying don't watch it, but I kind of am.
I'm kind of saying don't watch the early stuff. In fact, I tell people when I meet them, and I tell them I have a YouTube channel, and I say, do yourselves a favor, don't go back and watch the early stuff, because it's kind of embarrassing. It's kind of cringe.
But it's out there.
Yep.
And describing this band's sound, I mean, they do draw a lot of comparisons to French compatriots, Gojira, but they're kind of like the darker, nastier side. Like this is, Stranger Things is back, so this is the upside down version of Gojira, so... They don't like the planet, they just like suffering and darkness.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that's not their actual stance, but their music stance is dark, brooding, dreary, blackened death metal with giant chunky riffs. But this EP sees them expanding their sound a little bit more.
Yes, like in the opening track, Jula. I assume that's how you say it?
We spelled it out phonetically.
We did. So Jula opens with dissonant melodies and a blast beat, but I think overall, they're harnessing a little bit more of their black metal on this EP. I mean, it does remind you of Gojira.
It does.
I mean, it's kind of inescapable, and that's not a bad comparison, because I fucking love Gojira.
Gojira is awesome. The vocals, I mean, whether they're growled or shouted, they kind of have the Joe Duplantier sort of... flair to them, like they're bellowed but they're tuneful, and there's like a really cool like bit of reverb on them. But musically, it's again much darker, more like somber, but also sinister. Like it's just all the negative emotions.
And I think they picked up on the production a bit on this record too. There's definitely a lot more heft within this giant, open, brooding atmosphere. Just everything kind of has more of a punch to it.
And space and atmosphere too. Like this is definitely still like, riff and chugginess and all the distance, but there's a lot of like open space on this album, which you hear a little bit later on the album. Like the title track opens very similar to, Gojira, like kind of current Gojira. Like this kind of sounds like it could have been on Fortitude in the beginning.
Yeah, there's no way to really shake that.
No, it has that groovy bounce. And I mean, it's a Gojira groove. You get caught in them. But it's towards the middle and end of the album, it takes this hard shift into more post-metal atmosphere. Like, it takes this kind of cool, like, tribal rhythm, and the vocals shift to, like, a Scott Kelly style sort of exhausted groan.
Like groan, chanted at times, but yeah, definitely a Neurosis vibe.
Yeah, Cult of Luna, too. When the heaviness sort of drops out, you get that big open space in there, and you start hearing, like, the droning guitars and sort of like, just cavernous atmosphere. It really sounds like the last 2 Cult of Luna albums, and that is pretty much on full display on the whole opening of An Open Heart, the last track. That is...
I love that track.
A flat-out, like, post-metal song for, like, the first half of it. Like, it goes full tilt more to the black metal side later, like, blast beats, distant riffs. It's just dark and brooding, but that whole slow build-up is such a post-metal trope.
Yeah, it's an 8-minute and 17-second track, and it really doesn't go full tilt boogie until the last, 3 minutes.
Yeah.
The first good 5 minutes of that song are just very wide open, lush, somber melodies and tribal drums, and it does take on that whole, post-metal feel.
Yeah, the slow, deliberate build. Like, you hear the song getting constructed in front of you in, slow sections. And again, those groaning vocals. That's sort of a wrinkle that they really haven't employed much. Like, mostly it's that harsh growl or bellow. Again, very similar to Gojira, but this is, again, it kind of evokes like a certain emotion, like it's exhausted by the weight of its own fucking heaviness or something like that.
Yep. But then there's another song that's further back into the high energy, and it's definitely more black metal through and through. Digitalis Purpurea? I probably said that wrong too, but who knows? Gross intro. That intro is just nasty, dark, bleak heaviness. Of course, I get my chuggies, because we all know I like
strumming
chugs.
fury of the opening.
But I thought it had kind of like an Iron Dissonance vibe to it at times. Definitely just, it's in the accents. It gets really heavy, and then they have a couple of like bleeps.
When they're flying like full tilt, like blast beats, the riff construction reminded me a lot of like Hate Eternal, like just going for that absurdly brutal chord progression, whatever it is. Like, I feel like they're just hitting any note, but they're all evil notes, so I'm okay with it.
Well, because you imagine when it hits a blasty section, you imagine like tremolo blasts, which are huge in black metal, but in this case it wasn't tremolo, it was more of just big open chords and open notes, which I thought was really cool. The drum work, by the way, on this record is fucking fantastic.
Awesome. The drums sound fucking great, too. Like, there's such a resounding pop to that fucking snare, and with all the layers of sound on here, that definitely helps when the snare stands out, because I can actually follow the song a little bit easier. And honestly, some of the black metal sections reminded me a lot of Immortal. Like, they have like some cool double time sections, especially in the title track, where it just goes like stampede speed, double bass fucking flurry. And it just kind of has that Immortal charging into battle and whatever mythical land that Abath is from. Norway. There we go. That's real. Yeah. That's a real place. But it kind of has that whole vibe. And one of the moments I liked in here, just in terms of like creatively employing both sides, black metal and post metal, was the double bass flurries with just Neurosis style ambience in an Open Heart. Like, I think that just kind of captures two different sides of absolute bleakness in one moment. It was like, fuck, that's heavily depressing.
But sounds beautiful all at the same time. I don't know what that says about our personalities, but man, dark and depressing equals happiness too.
And for good measure, they threw in a fucking pretty cool surprise cover. They covered what I assume is Dark Horse. It's Cavalier Noir. I think that's Dark Horse. But
you said horse. I wrote down a dark whore.
Ooh, no, not that.
Not that.
But yeah, that's the opening track off of Axe Shall Fall, which is up there with one of my favorite Converge albums. And they do a really good job, and it's one of those where it's definitely like a more traditional cover. Like, they have the breakdowns in there, they have the fucking D-beat fucking fury, you know, all the shit you love about Converge, but there's like this black metal spin on it, and I don't know, it just sounds darker. Like, still has all the anger of Converge, but just darker sounding.
Well, and me, I've never heard the original Cavalier Noir from Converge, so I would assume it to sound like Svart Crown covering Converge.
I mean, they did a pretty solid job. I love that album, so I was like, man, why do I recognize this song so much? Oh yeah, they just wrote it in French.
So overall, I'm going to give this 4 stars. I really dug this album. Of course, you know, this band was kind of a late find for me. We didn't find it until the bleak times during 2020, and I'm certainly glad to have come across this band. I think this is actually probably an improvement from even their last record, which I thought was fucking pretty titties. There's definitely a lot more homage paid to the darker, heavier side of black metal here. This definitely sounds a lot more bleak and a lot more pissed off than their last record did, and I thought that's pretty cool. But yeah, all 5 of these songs whoop ass. It was a pleasant surprise. I didn't know about this until somebody pointed it out online the other day, so good find. Good band. Definitely go buy this.
I'm also going to go with 4 stars. Honestly, the big thing for me was the post-metal atmosphere. Like, I'm a giant post-metal fan. Like, you know, I love Cult of Luna, Neurosis, Isis, all that shit.
I mean, me too.
I don't know, it kind of opens up the sound a little bit more. And you know what? Honestly, kind of like maybe not sounding as much like Gojira is kind of a good thing. Like, there's definitely stuff that sounds like Gojira. And again, that is not a knock on this band.
Not at all.
Gojira is awesome. And I like their darker sort of spin on that sound. But employing some different influences, this is kind of starting to sound like its own thing too. Like, yes. I really dig the whole vibe and atmosphere of this. I think the song composition's awesome. The Converge cover was a fucking awesome surprise. And Yeah, all in all, this flows really well, and this is a pretty beefy EP. Like, the last ones we did were really fucking short, but this one's almost a half an hour, so... Yeah, there's plenty of stuff on here. So, yeah, if you have not heard of Svart Crown, I mean, their earlier stuff is definitely different. It's a little bit more on the brutal side, but I would still say get this one, maybe start here and work your way back. But, yeah, this is a killer EP.
Yep.
So, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you are new to the channel, subscribe, because we do stuff like this all the time. We are also on Patreon. If you'd like to help us out there, there's a link down below. We are doing an Ask Us Anything little thing probably towards the end of this month, early next month, and we have a fair amount so far, and we want to keep loading them up because, I don't know, we want to see what all you want to know about us. We have 15 questions on there so far, but we need some more, and we need some weirder ones.
Some weirder ones, yeah. We definitely have some ones that we normally get, favorite bands, blah, 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 blah. We've already answered a lot of those. I want some obscure fucking questions.
Yeah.
Like, I saw, I'm not going to name names, but I just saw one that says, what is your favorite gas station? That's more of what we're looking for.
Yeah. That's some random wild shit.
Favorite way to clip your toenails? Something.
Belt sander.
Ooh. So yeah, towards our patrons already, please hit us with whatever you got. We'll answer. Also, you're going to see another link down below, thrallsofmetal.com, if you want one of our kick-ass cool shirts that we have. We still have some left. You could find yourself in Thralls merchandise. Hey, look, Max Cavalier likes it. Why don't you? And then furthermore, last but not least, we are running... it is now June 12th, which means we have 3 more days to submit for the Denver Death Fest. On September 30th, October 1st, and October 2nd, Thralls of Metal will be hosting the first ever Denver Death Fest. If you're in a band and would like to submit to play, we are taking submissions at www.denverdeathfest.com for 3 more days. Do it. It's down there. Click it. Go. Do it. Love it. Metal.
And as always, thank you all so much for subscribing, liking, commenting, anything. Like, this is, again, such a fucking awesome thing. We've been having a ball with it.
I'm very, very thankful to have Thralls of Metal.
Yeah.
And it's because of all of you. You know, me and this dickhead would just talk about metal anyway.
Yeah.
But, I mean, without all of you guys, there is no Thralls. So
I know. And now we get to annoy people.
Yeah, we do.
Isn't that the best?
Yeah, we do. And on camera, they get to watch it. You get to watch me annoy you.
You want to know what's annoying?
Oh my god. Hurry up and close this out. Fuck.
So with that, thank you all very much, and we will catch you later.